Speaking of Man United, Ruben joined yesterday. Question: where do you think United will finish by the end of this season now? What do you think their season will look like?
I've got to see Ruben Amorim first, man. I've got to see what he's about.
Spurs, man.
I've got to see what his new tactics are like, his formation. I've got to see how these players bang under him, because I remember Man United fans getting incredibly excited about Ten Hag coming. So we need to actually see what this guy's all about first in terms of a style. I like the manager a lot. I think he's very good. I think there's definite hype that's not overhype. I think there's genuine excitement around it. I think the biggest excitement is probably the fact that Manchester United's new structure is now working alongside a young, talented manager that has actually achieved stuff and more stuff than Ten Hag did, in my opinion, from that. So for me, when I look at it, I think we've got to be realistic about Manchester United's playing staff. I don't think they're as great as what some make out. I still think there's definite lapse in quality in certain areas, departments of the team. But we've seen worse teams do great things with this. So for me, I think when you look at what he could do, I think he should be targeting to get back into Europe. I think that's a realistic opportunity for Manchester United. Now, I think the top five is still shown. I still have Chelsea and Villa in this top five with Arsenal, Liverpool and City. I think that sixth place could go to Spurs, United, Newcastle, or maybe someone shocked like a Brighton or Fulham or maybe even a Forest or something, the way things are going. But right now, I think Man United need to be looking at European football and trying to win a trophy, because Europa League, if he gets them banging, then he gets them playing. There's not anybody in that Europa League that I look at and go, wow, they're walking away with it. You know, Porto and Fenerbahce, you'd look at potentially and think that because of Jose, they've always got a chance, and Porto just come down from the Champions League. But Man United are right up there as well in terms of having a big quality of clubs. So, yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what players actually do react to Ruben Amorim. How is he going to get the best out of the likes of Bruno, Marcus Rashford? What's he going to do up top with Xerxes and Højlund? Because neither of those look particularly good enough for Man United, in my opinion. What's going to happen with Garnacho and Diallo? Are they going to come and bang? Because I'm quite a fan of this Ahmad kid. I think he's got a lot of potential.
Baller.
Garnacho likewise. So let's see where we're at with
what you rate Garnacho?
Say again, mate.
You say you rate Garnacho,
yeah.
Diallo. Yeah, I don't mind him as a very young kid. I think he's all right. I think he's got something about him. Yeah.
I like Diallo. I think Diallo's a baller, man.
Yeah, I think Ahmad Diallo. I think both of them have got something about him. I prefer Ahmad, but I feel like Garnacho has still got something about him. He's a young kid. I think he's got a lot of talent.
Not as bad as people make out, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think some people.
For me, I think you're looking at 8th or 7th. Yeah, I think you got to be honest. Yeah, say Liverpool, City, Chelsea, Arsenal, they're getting top 4. Right, 5th, 6th, 7th. For me, I'm looking at Newcastle, Aston Villa getting 5th and 6th, and then I think it's between Spurs and United for 7th and 8th place.
That's fair. I think that's fair.
I think that's where you're at, and then you need to get rid of a lot of the players. A lot of the players are not good enough, and then invest into his style. The thing is as well, like, do you have the players to play his style? Do you have the players to play his system? It might because of the way he is. He might take a couple more years, but he looks all right, doesn't he? You know what I mean? And looks like he's got a bit about him, which I think you need at United. So we'll see. But yeah, I think for this season, 8th or 7th, you're still in the Carabao Cup, aren't you?
Yes. We've got Spurs away.
It's a cup competition. Anyone can win a cup competition. You don't have to be the best team on the planet to win a Carabao Cup. So, you know, can he win that? Can he fluke one of them in the first year? If he can, fair play. Wins a Carabao Cup, yeah, and finishes 8th. Yeah, well, the thing is, though, I'd say fluke because, you know, United are clearly not the best team in this league, but they could still win the competition. Because it's a one-off game. You can chance on a one-off game and get them on a bad day. You could beat them 100%. I mean, you did it last year. I mean, you kind of fluked it last year, bro. I mean, you played Coventry. You almost done that one. You played City when half our players were drunk. Yeah, I mean, you kind of fluked it last year. But the thing is, though, true Potsy, man. My players are coming out saying
the bitterness. Now, do you know what? Like, I think everyone makes some good points in terms of. The only element I push back on is that things are different now. We keep hearing this, well, what's changed at United? New owners, new structure, football decision makers. So many elements are different in terms of hiring this. We made a big thing. We've hired a head coach. He doesn't control the transfers. He doesn't control the philosophy. He doesn't control the scouting networks. All these things, for the first time in our club's history, we've taken away. We have continued to try and replicate a Sir Alex ever since he left. And it was never going to happen. Because the new generation of managers, even from 10 years ago, were never trained and never built up to manage football clubs in its entirety. They were all, whether you call them a manager or not is irrelevant. They were all head coaches, essentially. And some have, a bit of say here and understand this, there, and the other. So there are a lot of differences at the club. But knowing who fits into the system, I've kind of refrained from having those conversations because we just don't really know. I think we have the players to play free at the back and play out from the, with Yoro, Martinez, De Ligt. I think we can play out from the back. Even Johnny Evans. These guys can play out from the back. They're good on the ball. I think we have some good fullbacks, especially when it comes to going forward. I think there's more to come from Delo. Maswari's been one of the best signings in the Premier League
very
this
good
year,
signing,
let alone Man United.
Do you think they can play wing back, Tol? Because they're going to have to play wing back now, aren't they?
Both of them too. I actually think Delo is better as a wing back than he is. He's never been that great defensively. So I think wing back probably suits Delo a lot more. Mazza, he's so technically gifted. He can do both things. He's very, very good. Ugarte, I think, will shine under this manager, and he started to look good in the last. I mean, Man United midfield in general, we don't have a dictator on the ball. Maybe Mainu comes in and does that. But look, Rude in 4 games just said, you know what? Instead of having 40, 50 meters between our central midfielders now, I want you playing next to each other. Suddenly we won 3, drew 1 game, weren't getting run through as much, weren't conceding the same level of chances. So that will work well. I'm looking forward to seeing Mainu play in the system. Bruno being played in that kind of attacking midfield role, he'll score and create chances. And it's Ahmad I'm excited about, who can play centrally and can drift out to the wings. And that's essentially what
running the United side, man. He was done dirty by Ten Hag.
And so, yeah, I'm really excited. Equally, though, my feet are firmly on the ground. This squad still needs 10 to 15 new players over the next 2 summer transfer windows for us to be even thinking about winning Champions Leagues and winning Premier Leagues. So a big overhaul is needed. But what's important, and we haven't done this with managers since Fergie retired, is start implementing a style and a play. And even if it isn't perfect, you stick with it, and then you just keep adding better players in. What we've always done is, do you know what we'll do? We're going to bodge it to begin with. We're going to do a bodge job with what we've got. And then when the squad's built, then we're going to implement a new system. And it never works because you can never get the manager's squad built. And then you sack him, and then you start a brand new project all over again with we'll play this way until we get the squad built. No, you need to start playing a particular way, and you add to that like every other successful club does, and we're at the, so we're at the beginning of a journey, but I think we can make the top 6. Top 8's more likely, but I think we can make the top 6 if we really do click into gear. And listen, I want us to go and win the Europa League. I still think if we fix the system and become hard to beat, we still have the best squad in the Europa League, in my opinion. I mean, Spurs right now are the bookies' favourite. And if Spurs are the bookies' favourite, how can Man United not expect to go and win that trophy?
Like, how can Spurs be favourite to win any trophy? They don't win anything.
It's crazy. Genuinely, it's crazy. So for me, again, he might come in and look awful, right? And then I'll change my mind. But I've got a feeling he's a serious.
If he comes in, so can you imagine? Ruud van Nistelrooy's left you on 2 brilliant wins, and he comes in. And
yeah, that would be painful to play Ipswich and to lose that opening game, because there is a nice feeling around Man United again. And part of it is because we love Ruud, and he's come in and we've won some games. We've scored some goals at last. We scored more first half goals in the game at the weekend. We scored the same 2 as we had in the entire rest of the season put together in every other game. We slapped 5 in against Leicester the first time round, told it was a B team, slapped 3 in. I was happy with large parts against Chelsea, but, scored in that game, and that was only from the spot. Did well in Europe after not winning a game in a year in Europe, 11 matches, 1 win. So there's a nice feeling back at the club. And I think Amorim, just listening to him talk, and I do think charisma, and I do think the way you come across is important. If you listen to him speak and then go and listen to Ten Hag, I just imagine being a player listening to one and not the other. You listen to Klopp speak, you listen to Pep speak. There's something about him, whether you like him or not, you think, I'd like to work for that person. I'd work hard for that person. I'm hoping a lot of people say Ruben has that, and I hope that he does. But I'm just excited about the future. But my one message to United fans is please keep your feet firmly on the ground. There's going to be some really nice peaks in this, but there's going to be some troughs as well. There's going to be some down periods because the squad ain't ready to be consistent yet. And I think there are some United fans, I'm sure your fan bases do this too. City probably don't remember doing it because they've been good for so long now. But they do this thing of a lot of people I've seen that were pro Ten Hag. I already see their tweets and their videos where they're a little bit like, if we ain't cooking straight away, I'm coming for this manager. And it's like, oh, for fuck's sake. Let it go a little bit.
Pro Ten Hag still, man. Come on.
I don't think people are pro Ten Hag. I think people are there's a lot of narcissism out there, and it's this element of people wanting to be right. And because the manager, they back the manager, he's going to turn it round, and he didn't. Instead of just saying, I got that wrong and moving on, they hold. There are still people that hate everything about Man United now because they backed Ollie. They got it wrong and Ollie got sacked. They're still bitter about it. And I'm sure if you actually look into it with the Arsenal fan base, there are some that still haven't got over the fact that, there are some Arsenal fans I know that have been bitter towards the managers you've had since Wenger because they didn't like how Wenger. There's still like a bitterness that sits within them because what they wanted didn't happen. And I'm just not about that. I did want Ten Hag out. I got no ill feeling towards him. I'm excited about the future. I just think Man United fans have got to wise up and realize it's a long, hard road for us from here. And fans being critical at times, but supportive and more positive, I think is the quickest way of getting there. I think that the idea of I'm just going to be angry until we're brilliant, I don't think that's going to help the club in any way. I don't think that's going to help us get better, personally. You can have standards without being angry every 5 minutes. And I think we've got to get the balance right as a fan base as well. But yeah, I'm very, very excited about what's coming down the road for us, just because it is all completely different. This isn't what we've done before. So I feel kind of fresh, if that makes sense. I feel like I've just got out of the sauna and shower. Feel great. I think
you're at the bottom, innit? You feel like you're at the bottom of the shit show. Like you can only really get better for me. Surely. I mean, you're 30. It can't get any worse, surely.
No, I said it but behind the scenes, and I don't want to take that as a dig. It's the reality. So yes, you guys are all in a better position in the league in me. But I was saying earlier, my example is this: like I've been in this situation in my real life where I've been lost a job, been broke, I've got no money coming in, can't go out with the boys, can't buy new clothes, feeling a bit shit. And then you get that call from a job you've gone for, and you've got it. You start in 2 weeks, you've got money coming in. And then it's like, you know what? Today still I'm broke, but there's something better coming down the line. So it puts you in a better mood. That's kind of how I feel. So today I still know we're not in a great place, but I really do feel for the first time in 11 years, like there's light at the end of the tunnel. And the reason for that is we've not reinvented the wheel. We haven't discovered fire. We're not doing something that's groundbreaking. We have just set a structure up that all the other successful giant teams in the world have that we've ignored for 11 years. The fact that we've now done it makes me so much more. And even with Ten Hag, Dan, you're bang on. A lot of United fans got excited. Just people go back. I'm not saying you boys have got to do this. Go back and watch my video the day he was announced. I said almost word for word, I'm excited about this manager. But if our structure doesn't change and the marketers and bankers stay in charge of Ten Hag, within a year, they'll ruin him and it'll all fall apart and it'll go rotten. And that's exactly what happened. Again, I wasn't fucking Nostradamus because it had happened to the previous 4 managers. I had no belief it would change this time round. So maybe that's why I'm a little bit more positive than some United fans, if that makes sense. This year says most American owners do not have football brains. They depend on the edus to make the right choices. He fouled. Kai doesn't suit Arteta. Needs 2 cups this year. This from Daniel. He says we need to talk about Arsenal. We need Sisco and Williams, and they only
care about the Rams.
Care about the Rams. Benjamin Sisco.
I'm not sure, to be honest. I saw him not get a kick against Celtic the other night, so I wasn't too impressed by him. And in the Euros, I thought he looked absolutely terrible. But look, he's still a young player. He's not the one I'd want. No, I'd want Gyökeres and Isak over him. But we definitely need a striker, man, 100%. And we need a winger as well. Right. There's a lot that we need.
And number 8 wouldn't go amiss either.
Exactly.
I hear you on that. This here from earlier, sorry, says LB doesn't want Oliver sacked.
They're on him.
They're on you today. They are on you today. This here from earlier as well says refs should be accountable for their bad decisions. Managers get sacked, players get sold. Why only refs? Yeah, a few people have said that. And look, I think there's a lot that needs to be done in that space. Terry's got amnesia but again, Maradona, you're a liar. Because I told you before, I would pay your rent or mortgage for 6 months if you could go a month without lying about me on my streams, bro. But that's what, like, I honestly threatened, made him the offer for that. And what we'll do it. We'll even make this bet even more interesting. I'll put the money ahead of time into escrow, so therefore I can't pull out of it. We'll put it into an escrow account. If you can go a month without lying about me, Maradona, love you, bro, love you. Terry, why are you trying to hype a shit situation? I love it. I love the bitterness. It's great. But there we go. Boys, as ever, always a pleasure to sit here.